All right, Pisces, let's get into a reading. I'm going to see what's coming out for you. I just want to do a quick reading. We'll see how quick this is going to be. Quick is not in my vocabulary. So let's see what's coming out for you. Pisces, I'm getting an energy of you triggering someone or multiple people. Yeah. This is what I'm seeing right off the bat. I'm seeing you receiving possibly a lot of messages of like bad news or maybe even negativity. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm seeing here within the past 7 weeks to 7 months, maybe 7 years. This could be a 7-year cycle, but it might not be. But I'm seeing a lot of like defensiveness when it comes to people around you. And this is what I'm getting. I'm getting that you have, again, within the past 7 weeks, 7 months, or 7 years, you have been significantly triggering people. You have been triggering people who have the tendency to run from the truth, run from their problems, people who like to run from how they feel. You have the tendency to bring out people's ego. You have the tendency to, I think you have the tendency to trigger people's deepest fears and deepest wounds. But I think what you need to know about that is that it's not all bad. That there is something more when it comes to triggering. You know, when we trigger someone, we see their defensiveness. We see their guardedness. We see them wanting to maybe argue with us, start a fight. They get defensive, they get guarded, they shut down, they run, they ignore us, they ghost. And we can automatically, if you don't know any better, you will take it as a dagger to you. What did I do wrong? Why do you hate me? Why are you mad at me? When it's something so much bigger. Because what you have to realize is in that moment, you triggered something deep. You triggered an awakening that maybe they were ready for, but they were ignoring, they were dodging, they were running from it. And when they met you, you're pure source, you're pure power. So it doesn't matter how much they run. You're going to say it in a way that maybe they've heard 1,000 times, but with you it comes out so differently that it smacks them across the face like a girlfriend during a breakup. You trigger deep, deep things inside of people, and that's not always comfortable. But I feel like Spirit is telling you that this is part of your journey, and it's something that although you might not understand why they gave you that power, that position, it takes a certain individual that can trigger people and not take it to heart. I mean, I feel like you're the kind of person where sometimes you say the wrong things at the wrong time. And you had to learn that, okay, it just is what it is. I can't go around and walk on everybody's soft spots and their trigger wounds. If I triggered you, I'm sorry, but you need to work on that. And that's what I'm seeing here. And I'm seeing that you also trigger people into their truth, into a deeper healing journey. You know, where they were once able to be confused, they can't anymore. You're not a yes person. You're not one of those people who's like, oh, you want to lie to yourself? It's okay, baby. I'll lie to you too. You're like, listen, you lie to yourself. You need to stop. And again, that's a very uncomfortable place to be because people are going to get mad at you. People are going to make you seem like you're the problem when all you did was trigger something and they don't know how to handle it, and that's okay. But Spirit wants you to get comfortable in your position in this life. Because for some of you, I think you're starting to recognize that that is kind of some of your purpose. I'm not saying that is your purpose, but I'm saying that's some of it. What do I mean by that? So you're the kind of person where you can make someone mad and you didn't mean to. You didn't even know it was going to get that far. Maybe you can make them emotional because the water just come on and the ice maker's turned off, so it shouldn't be feeding it water. But you're at a place where you would say, I know you're getting defensive. I know you're trying to feed me an illusion. I know you're wanting to keep this confusing because it's comfortable for you, because it's easier. But I'm okay with being the bad guy in your story. I'm okay with being the villain. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you being mad at me and you being so triggered is showing me that something I'm saying must be right, must be true, must be on point. So I think you need to go look into that. That's your energy. And I think one of the things that you don't know is that you could have really helped at least 7 people make decisions they would have never made. You could have helped 7 people go from a place of being very defensive, running from their problems, not realizing that you can't run from yourself. You help these people make choices, make decisions with this Judgment card. You help them go through that journey of awakening, shadow work. And I think for some of you, you don't even know this, because with the 7 of Wands, these could be people who don't talk to you, you don't talk to them. These could be people where there is a boundary in place. Maybe the last time you guys spoke, you fought. But again, it could be an energy where, yeah, everyone in my life has always said that, but you said it and it really pissed me off. But you saying it could have been the reason that they finally looked in the mirror and went, and why did you let that person piss you off so bad? You really liked them until they said that. Y'all were really friends until they said that. So why? And then that can push people into a place of shadow work, into a place of awakening and really understanding, oh, it's because that's not who I was meant to be. I was in fear. I was running from my truth, my purpose. And you're like a brick wall on a train track. You're here, baby. You're here to stop me. I think some of you even have a tendency to trigger people's like demons. Some of you even have the ability to see the parts of people that they don't want you to see. So have you ever been around someone and let's say that they just went through something that's like not good. They went through like a horrible breakup, the person cheated. Let's just say it was like the nastiest of the nastiest. It was like traumatic breakup. And let's say you know nothing about this person, but you go up to them and you go, well, I mean, I guess it could always be worse. You could always get cheated on by your ex-boyfriend, him steal your dog and fuck your best friend. And that person might just look at you. But what you might not know is that you just actually hit the nail right on the fucking head. You made them feel so vulnerable in that moment. They don't know if they should scream, if they should cry, if they should throw a tantrum, if they should freeze in that moment and act like you weren't speaking to them. Some of you are so in tune with spirit and so gifted when it comes to being able to trigger people for a higher purpose that you're able to pick on their most vulnerable wounds. It's like you're the person that can go in there and say the one thing that shouldn't be said, the one thing that's going to trigger the fuck out of them. And somehow you just go in there and can say it without even having a guidebook, without even needing to know what needs to be said. Because spirit is giving you the guidebook. But it has a purpose. And again, like I said, it's like every person, you know, not everyone you trigger deep to the core is going to do the work. But 7 people here have changed because of you. Have made the final decision to do the work, to make changes in their life, to maybe quit confusion, illusion, or playing the victim. Again, remember I said just a minute ago, everybody could want to run from their problems, but what they didn't realize is they're taking them with them. These could be maybe a lover, a friend, a family member, maybe multiple, where you had to say that to them. No, I know you're running. You always run. But what you're not realizing is that at the end of the day, you're still going to be there. You are the problem. And I love you, but you are the problem. And that could have made them feel very vulnerable. Very seen, but not in a good way. The kind of seen where you don't want anyone to see you like that. You know how some of us had those nightmares of standing in like Times Square naked? Those dreams that make you feel very vulnerable, like everyone is seeing you and pointing at you and laughing at you and judging you. That's what I'm getting here. But for a lot of you, you don't even know that you do it. You just know that people have the tendency to maybe overreact when it comes to you, get pissed off at something little, and you're like, I don't know why you're so mad. Damn, why are you overreacting? Give me more. Some of these people could have even tried to humble you, or could have made you fight for your position, your view. These could have been people who, again, you triggered and it turned into a fight. It turned into you having to defend your position, your viewpoint. For some of you, I will say this. You've triggered a lot of people, and some of these people have never told you the change that you brought into their life. Mainly because they envy you. They don't want you to know that you helped them in a way no one else could. Because what makes you special? It's like some of these people do want to humble you, and that's that ego. And again, that's another awakening they're going to have to go through. The older you get, not always, but usually the older you get, you realize there's enough for all of us. You don't need to humble nobody because the universe is going to humble them. And it's not your place to humble nobody. You can walk away and judge in your mind, but honey, nobody cares. And it's not going to affect you when you go to bed tonight. But maybe some of these people even tried to humble you and had to learn a lesson in that. That was their ego. And they only wanted to humble you, hurt your feelings, and give you a taste of your own medicine because spirit was working through you. And they didn't like that. I don't like being seen. I don't like that you can see through my confusion and illusion. Yeah, you think you're right, huh? Well, then defend your position. Some of you are triggering these people for them to understand what happiness is for them. These could be family members. Some of you could definitely be the black sheep of the family, where you feel like you always have to defend what you're thinking, who you are, what's right for you. You could feel like you were put in a family that doesn't understand you and that's nothing like you. You could feel like your family is big on confusion or feeding one another illusion. This could be the kind of family where the family's got secrets and nobody knows the actual secret because everybody knows something different kind of thing. So some of you could have the tendency to trigger your family. And that could be, it's interesting because I feel like that could be your goal, your mission. I feel like you could be the generational curse breaker. What do I mean by that? I feel like your family has the tendency to disagree, but I feel like they also have the tendency to kind of fall in suit like a herd of sheep. You're not that though. You have a backbone. In a way that they don't. In a way that they don't understand. In a way that seems foreign to them. And there's something about you here where you can't help but follow the beat to your own drum. And again, it could really trigger your family, maybe your kids, maybe you have multiple children. They don't like the fact that you moved out of the country and you don't want to be there for your grandchildren. That can make you feel like your family doesn't see you. They don't understand you. Why do you guys not understand? I was a single mom. I was a single dad. I raised the hell out of you guys. I don't want to raise your children. But in their mind, they could be like, but you don't get it. That's the American dream, is us being able to work and enjoy life when we're in our 20s or 30s and have kids and you take care of them. And some of you could be like, they just don't get it. They don't understand it. That's not who I am. And you could be triggering things inside of them that make them want to humble you. Well, guess what? You're not a good grandparent. Everybody else has better grandparents than you because you're not doing what I want you to. They could even not understand you. I don't understand. I don't understand how you could have kids and not be there for your grandkids. But what they're not saying, if this is children, is that this is going to come back one day to haunt them. Because they're going to end up, for some of you, let's say that that specific part is your story. Let's say that you have kids that they don't respect your decisions. They don't even try to understand them. They just critique them. And they get mad at you and they envy you and they either want to humble you or want to teach you a lesson. What they're not realizing is that this is going to come back to haunt them, but in their own life. So they could be being hard on you right now and doing all of that to you, but their kids might then do the complete opposite and take advantage of them. So what do I mean by that? Okay, you could be at a place where you're like, but Danielle, I don't want to take care of my grandkids. I want to see them, but I don't want to be their second mom, their second dad. That's not what I raised my children for. And your children could be wanting to humble you. Well, you're not a good grandparent. You're a shitty grandparent. You should be there for your children. Well, one of the things you might not know is that when those grandbabies grow up, those grandbabies are going to treat your children exactly the way they're treating you. Except your children are going to do what those kids want, and it's going to be at their demise. So they might end up raising their grandchildren. They might end up being the mom, the dad, where the grandkids get dropped off at the grandparents' house. The mom and dad don't come back for days. They don't call. So it's kind of like them not understanding your position and saying, you know what, fair enough, you're right. You did raise us enough to where we don't need your help. We would love your help, but we don't need it. It's okay if we just see you on the holidays and send the babies your way for 2 weeks in the summer. We get it. Instead of doing that, instead of trying to understand, they get pissed. And that could be a lesson that they're going to learn, is that sometimes you don't have to understand why people do what they do. But one day you will. An example would be, when I was growing up, I used to never understand how parents parented each child different. Why the fuck you nice to that one, but you mean to this one? I never understood it. But now that I'm older, I get it. Because usually with your first children, you're hard. Usually you're younger, you're harsh, you don't have as much patience, you're not as forgiving, you're not as understanding. And then the more children you have, the more you try to do better with the next one. So you might have been hard on the first one, so you try not to be so hard on the second one. It's like a science project. When it comes to children and the way that you're raising them, you don't know what's working and what's not until they're grown. We can't judge until we're there. So for the longest time, I would judge my parents. Well, I don't understand. Yeah, you need to be stricter. You need to do this. You need to quit being so strict. Yet here I am raising my own. And I'm like, great. I don't know if she's going to run a company or a prison. I'm confused. I don't know. It's easier to critique. It's easier to be defensive and hateful when you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I'm saying for some of you, I'm seeing that here, okay? Especially if this is family. It's like family, people don't want to understand you. And that's okay. Somebody could have like really long, blonde, gorgeous hair. Yeah, triggering people's self-wounds, triggering them so they can go through a season of introspection because you're showing them their wounds. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the people that you've triggered have been frustrated with you. They've had jealousy problems. They weren't confident. These could be people who thought that they were confident until they were around you. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of the people that you're triggering are frustrated. They maybe even have the tendency to self-sabotage. Some of you could call them out. Give me a little bit more. I'm hearing, I say I like you, I do. Who is that? Is that Post Malone? Want to go shopping in the bins? I like you, I do. Okay, there could be someone who likes you that wants to date you. You can meet this person on social media. You can meet them on a online dating app. Or again, this could be a friend of a friend. Some of you could be going out with someone here coming up, like a group of friends, and you can meet someone then. I am saying that someone is going to show you interest here coming up. That's just a side note. You're going to be able to give to that person if you want. And for some of you, it might even lead to marriage if that's what you want. Now, the reason this is coming up in here could be because some of you, this could be someone you've once triggered. Some of you was dating someone, having fun with someone. And they could have sabotaged the relationship because they were frustrated, they weren't confident, they could have had fear or ego, or they could have sabotaged. But I am saying that some of you could have been talking to someone, dating someone, and that there could be a huge change here coming up after a moment of triggering. So you could have liked this person, they could have liked you. There could have been a lot of flirting, or there will be if it hasn't happened yet. And then what's going to happen is that someone's going to get in their head. They're going to start having a lot of fear, or their ego's going to get involved. So what does that mean? Well, when your ego's involved, that's big on, I don't have to explain myself to you. I don't have to tell you what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about your emotions, your feelings. Okay, baby, that's your ego. Okay, so make sure your ego's okay with sleeping with you tonight, because that's going to be the only person in your bed. That's what I'm saying. So if that happened, or if that's going to happen, someone's going to kind of get in their head and either sabotage it by pulling the, but I don't have to, or they're going to start having so much fear and overthinking that they might take themselves out of it before it has the ability to flourish, because a triggering is happening. Now, once that happens, I'm saying that there is a possibility for it to come back together and for something to completely transform and it go all the way, if that's what you both want, okay? Now, for some of you, if that's the case, if this is someone that you've done dabbled with, this person could be watching you and could be thinking about giving you an invitation. They could be thinking about hitting you with the, hey, I'm going out this weekend. You want to go with me? Hey, I'm off this weekend. We should meet up. We should hit up. We should go hang out. If it is a past person, okay? Now, if it's a new person, again, it's going to be good. Then they're going to kind of move back, and then they're going to come back in. So it doesn't matter if it's a past person or a new person. I'm definitely saying no matter the status of the dynamic, there will be a triggering taking place before it is able to completely start flourishing in the way that you want it to. So what they're showing me is flowers being planted outside, but then a winter shock coming through. So if you plant flowers in like March or April, you can plant them, it can be beautiful, and then one random ass day, it'll be cold as hell, and it'll shock your flowers and it'll kill them. That's kind of what I'm getting here. So I feel like for some of you, there could be a relationship that you've done dealt with, or somebody that you're going to be dealing with, where I think it's going to be like planting flowers on a beautiful spring day. And then there's going to be a triggering, aka a shock moment, where it could get very cold, very lonely. Somebody might give the cold shoulder. Something's going to end up happening where fear or ego is going to come out and someone's going to sabotage in some sense, form, or fashion. And then there's going to be a possibility for it to replenish, okay? So that's what I'm saying. All right, leaving it here. Have a blessed day.